Hey folks, I'm back. It's Megan. So, I was prompted to make this video today because, my brother-in-law sent me a text message. Well, he was looking for me and my husband, or both of us, to check on their mother. Evidently, he couldn't reach her. Turned out to be, it was just because he had her wrong number and it wasn't connecting him to her. So, I got a hold of her. She called him. Everything was made right. The reason why I'm making this video, and I'm sorry if you're offended if I put this on here, is actually this reason. Several months back, I was having an issue because I was trying to reach my mother-in-law, and she was not picking up her phone. Her voicemail wasn't even picking up, nothing. And this went on for a little while, and I had to look up where she lived at because she lived in an apartment complex, condo, something or another. I called her rental office and said, "Hey, look, you have a resident that lives in blah 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 apartment. Nobody's been able to reach her in a few days, or yeah, nobody's been able to reach her. Could somebody go check on her?" And it scared me because her best friend who lived across the hall had passed away in her apartment, and it was like a day or two, I think it was almost a day before they found her. So for me, it was like I didn't want to see that repeat itself. Well, long story short, she got actually it was more than a couple months back because it was before I married Jamie. So it was late last year. Turns out where she had her cordless phone plugged in, her cats had jumped and had knocked the phone outlet out of the wall. She hadn't heard the phone ring in like 3 days. She didn't even think anything of it. And then they knocked on her door to check on her, and she was really surprised and everything. But then she called me because she realized who it was. I said I was her daughter-in-law, but that was, shortly before I actually physically became her daughter-in-law. But regardless, it all ended well. It's not always going to end well with, loved ones and people you care about and whatnot. It's why it's important if you have family or friends that live alone that, either they don't get out much or they're getting up there in age or they have some serious health issues, that's imperative that you try to get a hold of them every few days or, within the week. And if it's close enough, go visit them if you can. But if you can't, then at least you call them to make sure that they're still doing okay, because, you don't want to get that phone call. You don't want to find out somebody you love had to suffer because nobody checked on them. So, that's what prompted me to do this video, that if you care for somebody or care about somebody and you can do something about it, to do something about it. Make sure they're okay. If they need something, help them, I don't get to see my mother-in-law as much as I'd like, but I try to go, see her when I can. And, it just turned out a while back she had changed her house phone number because she was getting, the person who had the number before her, there was a lot of like bill collectors and solicitors that kept calling asking for that person, but it was getting to the point where it was calling before legal hours and after legal hours, meaning I think it's before 9 a.m. and after 9 p.m. And it was disturbing her. She wasn't able to rest when she needed to, and she wasn't able to just, keep her calm and not overly stressed. She was stressing about, if they believed her. She was stressing about, them telling her that they're going to take her to court or just different things. Even though it was for the other person, she was still stressing about it. So she had her number changed to one that hadn't been in, it was either a new one or one that hadn't been in circulation or had been out of circulation for a while. So, she turns out that the number that she'd had before was, registered to somebody else who had lived in the same complex that had moved. So it was, a little too close for comfort, in my opinion. So, sorry, I have a tickle in my throat today. It started about an hour ago. Excuse me. So whether you're a nurse, whether you're a health keeper, maybe you're a home health care nurse, maybe you're, a friend, a relative, there's somebody that you know that needs to be checked on, check on them. And, if you can't get to them, make phone calls. If they have a phone, then at least if they can answer you, they're okay. And if they don't, then, there are things you can call your local police department if you can't get down there to do a welfare check, which basically, from what I understand, you give them the person's name, address, and they send somebody out there to knock on the door to make sure the person's doing okay. And I've heard of cases where they did a welfare check on somebody and found out that the person was, severely hungry or was without food, and they did something to take care of it. The person hadn't eaten in several days, and maybe their phone was turned off because of lack of payment because she didn't have money or something, and the nice police officers would do something about it. One case I heard that they took up a collection and took her to the grocery store, went and got groceries for her. Another one took her, brought food for her or whatever. It's just doesn't take long. It doesn't take much for kindness. And sometimes when you give a little to somebody, you get a lot in return. So I'll leave with that message. Like, fave, share, subscribe to me. Thank you for listening. Bye.